about my elephants.
I am talking about your elephants. And I am dying to hear the story. I got an email from you when I first met you a few years ago, and the PS said, "Ask me about the elephants."
Well, this was certainly one of my most unique experiences, and one of the contributions I've made to the world that I'm the most proud of. And it all happened really quite coincidentally. I have been writing for 30 years in my books about how people recover from depression, how people bounce back from adversity, how people learn to cope with things that at one point seemed overwhelming to them. And so I've developed this process called sequencing of how people follow specific steps that lead them in the direction of getting better. And of course, it's always revolved around mastering skills associated with life skills. But one day, out of nowhere, I get this phone call from the San Diego Wild Animal Park, which has since renamed itself the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, but we're talking about the same place. But it was called the San Diego Wild Animal Park, and at the time, I get this phone call from the general manager, who says, "Hi, my name is Jim. I'm calling from the Wild Animal Park." And he launches into this lecture about how elephants are extremely endangered, and that there are very few places that can manage captive breeding of elephants because maintaining elephants is very difficult, and particularly breeding elephants is difficult because bull elephants go through this period every 12 to 14 months called must, where the testosterone is flowing heavily, and they're aggressive and crazy, and it's just difficult. And there's only 3 parks in the United States that can breed elephants, San Diego being one of them. And this guy's on a roll saying all this stuff, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. And I'm wondering, what is this guy? Why is this guy telling me all of this? And then he says, "Okay, so we have 23 elephants at the Wild Animal Park, and we want to establish a breeding herd of 120 elephants, and we need your help." And finally, I cut in and I said, "Look, I'm a clinical psychologist. You obviously have a wrong number." He says, "No, you're the guy I want to talk to, and here's why." He says, "In order for us to accommodate a breeding herd of 120 elephants, we are going to have to hire many more trainers, many more keepers to manage the herd. And you can't just put an ad in the newspaper for elephant trainers. We're going to have to train them ourselves. And because training elephants is such a dangerous business, elephant trainers are routinely injured and killed. We don't want anybody getting hurt, so we need to train them safely." So now I'm sitting here wondering, where is this conversation going? And then finally he gets to it and he says, "The guy who's in charge of this program is a fellow named Alan, who is brilliant with the elephants. But when you ask him, 'How do you do what you do?' he very insightfully says, 'I don't know, it's just intuition.' And he says, that doesn't help us. So your skills in figuring out how people do things are precious to us right now. Would you come out to the Wild Animal Park, study Alan, figure out how he does elephants so that you can develop the training protocols for all the new trainers and keepers that we want to hire?" And my first thought was, how can I do that? And that lasted literally about an eighth of a second, because my next thought was, how can I not do that? And I instantly said, I'm in.